Today's cup of coffee, we've already had so many issues that it's not even funny. It
Oh
has been
God.
a really, really rough day. And if you
Yeah.
wonder sometimes why it is that I stumble and stammer while reading, sometimes it's because the light fades, and it's like it's not that I don't try to record earlier. It's just that stuff keeps happening. It's like every day is triage in our world.
It does. It's like, can you just give us a break just for a
Yeah,
little
really.
bit?
So anyhow, but at least we haven't had a day like the gentleman that we're going to discuss. And his name was Police Officer Herbert Schirmer. And it's like, God love him. You know, as bad as our day is, we've not been abducted.
Not yet. We don't know
No.
that I haven't been
Well, that's true, but
abducted before.
that's true, but anyhow, you haven't had memory of that. And this story comes from Mysterious Universe again, and Brent Schwanzer is once again the writer on this, and he actually does a really good job. I didn't even try to use how and whys on this one. I don't even know that they had this story on there. But I did find another story to go with this one, and this one's not as hard to find on the internet as Krista Tilton.
Krista Tilton.
Yes, that was the one
That's
yesterday.
The one from last night.
It was. And we have cats who have fleas and are making obnoxious noises.
We have one that has respiratory issues, and every single time
Yeah.
he bites or scratches or cleans himself, he snorts and struggles with his nose. So
Yeah.
if you hear that,
Hey, this is real, folks. I mean, this is as real as it gets. We don't have the green screen. We don't have all the fancy stuff. We're sharing our lives with you.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. And things that are of interest to us, and we hope they're also of interest to you. And as far as Mr. Schirmer, in 1976, Herbert Schirmer was a 23-year-old young man who had just served in the Navy in Vietnam and had just started working for the Ashland Police Department in Nebraska. On December the 3rd of that year, he had been with the force for 7 months. And on that evening, he went out on his regular patrol as usual, going out along Highway 63, or what was normally a pretty quiet beat, a rural area that didn't typically have much going on. And his patrol was usually relatively uneventful, and some might even say boring. It's not.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, police work is not excitement 24/7.
Yeah.
So there was no reason to think that this evening was going to be any different, and he had headed down the dark highway, and the lanes hypnotically flickered by. A little bit of poetry by the writer here, by Mr. What is his name again?
I was about to say, what is he
Schwanzer.
writing? A novel?
Well, kind of, sort of. I guess he gets, he just tries to make it a little flowery from time to time. Anyhow, Mr. Schirmer then decided, well, he didn't decide, he had an extremely bizarre turn in his life. That happens. If you've never had one of those extremely bizarre turns in your life, just wait, it'll happen.
Yeah, it happens eventually.
Yeah. It was about 2:30 a.m. when Schirmer rounded a bend near the intersection of Highway 6 and 63 and saw before him what he first took to be the lights of an oncoming vehicle, which were two blinking red lights atop of what he thought was a large white truck. He soon realized that whatever it was, the vehicle wasn't moving, and he thought that there might have been someone who had broken down and was perhaps in trouble. And I am paraphrasing, hopefully for time's sake on this one. When the spotlight of his patrol car hit the object, it was very apparent that this was not a truck. The red lights seemed to be emanating from two portholes on the side of a silver disc-shaped metallic object that was like polished aluminum and hovered in mid-air about 8 feet off the surface of the road. Around the mysterious object, he could see what looked like to be some sort of catwalk encircling it, and on its bottom was what looked like some sort of landing gear. As he stared in awe, trying to process what he was seeing, the object then passed directly overhead, I like this, and belched forth flames.
Belch.
To shoot up into the sky at great
It's a
speed.
dragon.
They're really. Leaving Schirmer there alone in the dark, quiet night, wondering if he should call in or not.
What? Is this man a reporter or a book writer?
He's a website vlogger, whatever.
He's a little too poetic to be a blogger.
But I do like that. We'll have to remember that phrase, belched forth flames. Let that be the theme for today. Schirmer made his way back to the station, and he quickly realized that a whole hour had passed, even though it had felt like only around 10 minutes. He then soon had a red welt spring up on his neck, and he was overcome with an excruciating headache, nausea, and a weird buzzing in his head. That sounds like some radiation poisoning to me.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. He made a note of the sighting in a report, and that was that until when 3 months later, a UFO research group from the United States Air Force funded group of scientists at the University of Colorado called the Condon Commission came knocking. I wish to God they had named that something else, because that is so easy to mispronounce.
Very much so. That's a Mary Poppins word.
Yeah.
Supercalifragilistic.
Anyhow, the organization was mostly looking into UFO sightings and trying to debunk them or discredit or explain away. So it was a skeptic group. It was like the Amazing Randy. And they went about inviting Schirmer to come out to Boulder, Colorado for questioning, which he actually accepted. And I'm sure that, if somebody calls up and says, hey, come talk to us, we understand about that you've had, an encounter, I'm sure he thought that it was somebody that wanted to listen to him.
Now
because it sounds all flowery.
Yeah. Now those photos, are those like actual photos, or are those just like
I think
screenplays?
they're artist renditions on this, if
Yeah,
I
that's
do
what I
believe.
thought.
He didn't have a camera. He didn't say nothing about him having no camera. Okay, he would undergo regressive hypnosis administered by psychologist Dr. Leo Sprinkle of the university. Aliens and conspiracies.
Aliens.
I had printed the pages out, just printed it off of the article, start reading, start talking, and realize there's part of this missing.
Yeah.
So had to go back in, copy, paste, print, which is why it's much darker than when we first started talking. All right, going back to Officer Schirmer and the Condon Commission trying to discredit him. It says that under hypnosis, Schirmer was able to have many hidden memories from that fateful night come floating to the surface. He claimed that his car's engine had cut out and the radio had died, after which inscrutable humanoid beings... What is an inscrutable?
Hey Siri, what is inscrutable? Damn it.
It's all right.
Hey Siri.
No, I know what inscrutable means,
I
but as
don't.
far as... Anyhow, they were
Now
about...
you messed my Siri up.
Yes, I did. 4.5 to 5 feet tall, emerged from the ship, dressed in silver gray uniforms and helmets with antenna on them. That sounds very 1950s sci-fi to me. If the helmets...
That's very 1950s sci-fi.
If
like,
the helmets hadn't had antenna, that makes you wonder.
like that robot that we have.
Yes, yes. And they had slanted cat-like eyes, white-gray skin, long, sharp heads, flat noses, and slit-like mouths. On the front of their uniforms were emblems featuring a winged serpent of some sort. Schirmer recalled having tried to draw his pistol and found out that somehow he was unable to do so, as if he had been paralyzed. These creatures revealed themselves to be friendly, speaking to him telepathically and asking him if he was the watchman of the town.
The watchman?
Sure, I can see that. And bringing him aboard their ship. Once there, he would say that they had shown him around and explained various things about themselves, such as that they drew power for their ship from power lines and had a base on the planet Venus, or in the planet Venus. So these were Venusians.
Take me to your planet. Take me to your planet.
They are.
Venus.
You're distracting. And they also told him that they would visit him again and that he would see the universe. The whole report was rather detailed, with Schirmer describing each of what he had seen on the 3 levels of the ship. But the committee, I'm just going to call it the committee, was unimpressed, saying, quote, evaluation of psychological assessment tests, the lack of any evidence, and interviews with the patrolman left project staff with no confidence that the troopers' reported UFO experience was physically real. In the aftermath of all this, Schirmer would return to Nebraska to scathing ridicule and personal attacks on his reputation. He was relentlessly taunted, made fun of, and there was even a bullet-riddled effigy of him hung up at the Ashland Cemetery.
A bullet-ridden effigy?
Yeah.
Like they shot
a dummy of him. Now, what kind of people live in this community?
That is messed up.
Over somebody reporting a UFO sighting.
Yeah,
can you imagine?
Sounds very, very shady. Like, that's not right.
Now, this wasn't in question. This actually happened to this man.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that seems really, really shady of those people to do. Like, that's some conspiracy theories type shit. Like, someone's trying to hide stuff.
That was above and beyond whatever.
Yeah.
And he would step down from his job at the Ashland Police Department, suffer from psychological problems and depression. Well, no kidding.
Really?
And that it was even reported that the whole thing had caused his marriage to disintegrate. His wife unable to handle it all and leaving him. Well, yeah, I can understand that because, yeah.
Yeah, I can
family members, whatever one goes through, where one goes, they all go.
Exactly.
So it says, amazingly throughout all this, he would stick by his story, eventually moving to Omaha and keeping a low profile to disappear from the public eye. Despite all the ridicule aimed at him, Schirmer has had plenty of those who have believed him, and one of these is a comic artist, and that is Michael Jasorka. And he created and published a 50-page graphic novel depicting the events. And this is pretty cool because the other article I found is from, let's see, where it is. There it is. This is from John Kipper. I started to say Kipper Posted, but John Kipper.
John Kipper.
And this is from news station KMTV in Omaha, Nebraska.
KM Ultra.
Probably. And the story comes from an Ashland cop, which we've talked about, Schirmer. And, okay, the comic book, which was Jasorka. Jasorka doesn't think it's some kind of fairy tale either in his 50-page comic. He was drawn into the story because of Schirmer's credibility as a cop. I've worked with cops, lots of them. There's good ones and some that ain't.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Like,
so.
And it just takes one bad apple to ruin the whole bunch.
Oh yeah,
of them.
oh yeah. So anyhow, it says Jasorka has stated the facts that he brings across his storytelling beyond a creative mind, and they're too detailed to say. Local UFO experts Paul Breckenridge and John Butter butter, butter.
Butter. Rub some extra butter on it, Paula Deen.
Told Circa what they know about the case. They say one reason they believe it to be true is others across the country told police of very similar circumstances. And Butter states the extraterrestrials were absolutely identical, and these were reported in police reports, not just a person coming forward and saying it happened to me. These were investigated by local law enforcement. And whether it happened or not, the story is now in revival. And this was written in 2019. That's because Nebraska-based Kinkador Brewery released a new beer this week, Star Space Dank IPA.
What does that have to do with aliens?
Named after the extraterrestrial meeting.
Okay.
There's one called Schmick. Where did Schmick come in? I missed that.
What is Schmick?
Anyhow, on the alien encounter, they had winged serpents. The aliens had winged serpents on their emblem. And that's all it says about Schmick.
I'm sorry. What is Schmick?
They've just thrown him in there. I don't know. I guess my assumption would be that he made the logo for the beer.
Whatever. You know, we'll roll with it. Yeah, Schmick.
So anyhow, point being, they have this big party sort of to celebrate this encounter. And poor little Schirmer, he couldn't even take part in it because he's been dead for quite a while.
Yeah.
But, and that's the sad thing about somebody being vindicated. A lot of times they don't live to see that.
That is very true, and it's very sad and tragic. It really is.
You know, but at least, do I believe him? Yes. Are the antenna sort of, but the rest of it, the fact that he did not seek the fame, the fact that he was, maligned in every possible way, and people are always like, well, I could deal with the scrutiny. No, you couldn't. No, people get
deal with scrutiny.
People get pissy over one bad comment on the internet. I mean, seriously, they get all butthurt, and it's like, my God, grow a pair. There are ugly people in the world. There are vile people in the world.
Don't at me like that.
And when they are given the anonymity of the internet, their true self comes out.
Don't at me like that, because I got upset because someone was saying racist stuff towards me earlier.
Honey, you always going to have haters. You always going to have haters. And this poor gentleman that had this encounter, like I said, and to have somebody that was supposed to be a professional group come and tear you down like that?
Yeah, like, where is... They're obviously not professional if they do that.
Oh, I've had that happen too, and as far as... I don't care if they've got an MD, a PhD, or a PDQ after their name. I have taken those people on. If they're wrong, they're wrong.
Absolutely.
And just because they're in a lab coat or whatever does not mean that they are gods. And I will tell them so in certain terms and have done so.
Yeah.
And the fact that they will write a lot of this stuff in a way that they think that people, average people, can't understand it.
Average people can't understand. My God.
Oh, let me tell you something. I have been underestimated most of my life, and that I can make that work to my advantage.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, it's like Tilton's thing yesterday versus Schirmer's today. Yeah, I know. Bless his heart. I think that man truly did experience something, including some radiation poisoning there.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't doubt the man's experience at all. And, yeah, I agree. Like, because there is cases of people getting radiation poisoning.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Radiation poisoning from UFOs.
Absolutely.
Radiation burns in general.
That's quite common as far as the craft.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know,
That's
maybe...
like in the movie Third Encounter.
Oh, yeah. Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, yeah. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. My brain mashed that up in one.
It's all right. But that was Richard Dreyfuss that played the main character in that. Excellent
It's a good movie.
Yeah, if you haven't watched that lately, go back and rewatch it. And somewhere in my internet travels, seems like I heard at some point that could have been, well, we know it could have been soft disclosure. Any of this stuff can be soft disclosure.
I have no doubt that it was.
So, do I believe that something like that very well could have happened? Absolutely.
Though I find it funny now how back in the day, like the early days of YouTube or whatever, even back in 2019 or 2018, you could find stuff pretty easily about aliens on the internet or on YouTube. But now, since they have disclosed that aliens do exist or whatever, like the government finally said, yeah, they exist, that you can't find shit on them anymore.
No.
And I don't understand why, is there stuff that they don't want us to see, but they let us see before? Like,
well,
what?
I think that's one of the reasons that those of us that are older, because we know stuff.
Well, yeah, y'all have more life experience than us.
Yes, we've had more time to study these things and stuff, and to find out what is so and what is not over the years, to research more, and they don't want that. They want people to be stupid and easily led.
They want sheeple.
Yes, they do. They're trying to turn people into greys.
I don't know that they're trying to turn them into greys, but lizard people, hell yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that NPC character is there, that has
NPCs
multiple,
have no minds.
Exactly. I think that there's multiple facets to that being used for a lot of people. Well, what did they say yesterday? That the greys had no mind. I still want the gray tossing contest.
I want to shake their head. I want to shake them to see if they rattle.
Well, I've heard before that it could be some kind of suit that they're wearing, that they could be sort of like drones.
Almost like that dude from, Men in Black.
Yeah.
Where the little alien was in the human body.
Yeah.
Same for the first live action Scooby-Doo movie where Scrappy was in the human suit.
Right. It could be something like that, or it could just, like I said, I think that they're more robotic. And so they didn't even take that much time to sculpt them well.
Well, I've heard that the actual Men in Black were sort of robotic.
We're going to talk about that in upcoming, Cup of Coffee.
Oh, awesome.
I've got,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I could talk about the Men in Black all day.
Well, I don't know. I don't want them driving up in our driveway.
I do.
Especially last night, after that incident that we were talking about, the unmarked helicopters, and the video just wasn't there anymore. Period.
Now, that was freaky. That was freaky as hell.
Yeah.
Because there was no reason it should have... Because it was recording just like now.
Yep.
Like, there was no reason for it to cut off, and we've never had that experience before.
It just wasn't there. So anyhow, I emptied the memory card before I even started recording. Checked the battery level, all of it. It just vanished. It wasn't there.
Maybe it was a glitch in the tech. I don't know.
Could be. But anyhow, if you all have had experiences with the paranormal or supernatural, if you've had UFO or alien encounters, if you've had sightings of big feet, cryptids, any kind of cryptids like that, if you have local legends, family myths, stuff like that, email us at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And you all have a beautiful, blessed day. Send us your stories. Like I said, we are not going to burn you in effigy or any other way.
We're not going to burn you at the stake like a witch either. We're not going to stone you.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Throw rocks at you.
So you all have a good day. Bye.
Pebbles.